Charles Ponzi, this 1900s con artist, elucidated one of the most notorious scams in history, a Ponzi scheme. The thing is, he wasn't even the first or last to do it. Just last year, state and federal laws authorities uncovered 34 schemes with a total of $3.4 billion in investor funds. We often think that we would never be a victim to these crimes, although within our lifetime, we'll unknowingly fall for one too, unless we understand what a Ponzi scheme is. At its core, it's investment fraud. It starts off by manipulating basic investor logic, which is you put money, time, or effort into an opportunity with the expectation of getting a return in the future. That's fair game. That's basically just Newton's third law of physics. How most institutions and companies work is that they sell the promise and we buy the product or service. Charles Ponzi took this approach and only sold the promise with no actual product or service attached to it. All he needed now was their trust. Ponzi schemes all have the same tells and target a specific person using something called irrational exuberance, where people see others making a profit and immediately assume that their investment is safe because of this, even if there's no actual reason to think so. A bias so strong it causes you to not even question what sort of value is actually being given back once you make that investment. This doesn't only happen with Ponzi schemes, but as well as financial bubbles do. Bubbles are basically just a portion of businesses in the industry that unintentionally become Ponzi schemes. Cryptocurrency is a good example of this. In the 1600s, when tulips were first introduced to the Dutch, they were seen as a symbol of status among all the middle class and nobles, which created massive demand for them, until people sort of just decided they were paying way too much for tulips. By the mid-1920s, Florida started to develop a reputation for being a vacation hotspot, which lit a light bulb in the minds of many Americans. Prices for properties were doubling every few months. It got to the point where people wanted to take advantage of this, were forking over cash that they didn't even really have just to get a down payment on a property. Charles Ponzi, back in the scene, even having already scammed people out of their life savings, as well as around this time being notoriously already known for doing so, managed to trick people that they were buying property in Jacksonville, Florida, when they were actually just buying a swamp property 65 miles away. But eventually this craze came to a halt when the price of materials created a bottleneck in production, making it so it could not even keep up with demand, causing over-leveraged investors to have to sell at a loss. Then there was a hurricane that destroyed most of the homes. Right now you can probably see how thin the line is between a Ponzi scheme and people making bad decisions on bad ideas. But no, it does not stop there. 1981, Louis Ranieri steps on the scene at an investment bank called Salomon Brothers, proposing that instead of banks loaning out $100,000 at just 5% interest and waiting 30 years for them to pay them back, they should just bundle all the mortgages that are similar to each other and create something called mortgage-backed securities. That way they could justify a higher interest rate and had more room for the people who are likely to default on those loans, since for them to fail, everyone would have to not pay them back. As of everything in history, we got a little carried away and started giving out ninja loans, proving loans to people with no income, no jobs, and assets. And too many people took on a little more debt than they should have, and you could probably guess what happened next. To this day, we don't know whether the banks were too dumb to notice or if they intentionally kept giving the loans knowing that the government would bail them out anyways. We'll call what Charles Ponzi did a scam and what the government did a bubble. Fact is, they both ended in the same conclusion, with millions of people without any money. Thing is, these things will keep happening as long as humans who set up these financial schemes and impatient people who are looking to profit fast coexist by using legit business models to create false promises and taking advantage of people who want to skip the time and uncertainty that's required to actually build some sort of wealth. People on both sides suffer from the extreme of two emotions, which is greed and laziness. Emotions that a lot of us don't take the time to properly understand. We make errors in our judgment. We're human. I've lost my fair share of cash in what I thought was legitimate. Thing is, without taking responsibility for our decisions as an investor and looking at where we went wrong, we are doomed to repeat history again. The truth will always be that you can't skip uncertainty and time when it comes to making money, and that there are always those that always see this coming that we can learn from. Craig Lippman, Michael Burry from the 2008 housing crisis. These were the guys that actually bet against the mortgage-backed securities that I talked about a little bit earlier on. While the whole world was having a big old party, a few outsiders and weirdos saw what no one else could see. The outsiders saw a giant lie at the heart of the economy, and they saw it by doing something none of the suckers thought they should do. They looked. Also, look at the first link in the description if you want some more content. Anyways, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Wait till I get my money right. I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I woke, I split that on a necklace. I told God I'll be back in a second. Man, it's so hard not to act reckless. To whom much is given, much is tested. get arrested